Greetings. Well, today we are going to talk about terrorism. Everybody knows that Islamic terrorism has no agency of its own. It is a creation of the money that is delivered to Saudi Arabia, who finances it. And it could be said that Zbigniew Brzezinski, advisor of Jimmy Carter, has organized the Taliban in Afghanistan to fight the Russians. But Russians have one activity that they are very good at, and that is espionage. Because during the communist dictatorship, the only way to control the people was through secret police. So they have a hypertrophied secret police state in Russia. Indeed, secret police is the only agency in that country. As I have already said, the attack in Paris was organized by Putin in order to confuse the European Union and to try to convince the West that the only threat they face is the threat of Islamic terrorism. That is not true. Islamic terrorism is a synthetic creation of the intelligence services of the United States and of Russia. So, after the downing of the Russian plane who took the tourists from Egypt, Russians retaliated by murdering 200 people in Paris. Of course, they want to further this hysteria against Islam, against Muslims, and it is my prediction that this New Year's Eve an explosion will occur somewhere in the West, either in the United States, in Canada, or in the European Union, where a bomb will go off, killing people, celebrating New Year's Eve. I want you to know that this will happen, and I need you to know that the culprit is not Islamic terrorism, but it is the KGB, Комитет государственной безопасности, or as it is called today, the FSB and the SVR, the KGB officers on the internet always say to me KGB was abolished in 1992. No, it wasn't. Of course, it is the same organization. It was first called the Cheka, then it was called the OGPU, then NKVD, then KGB, and today it is called FSB and SVR, which is the Foreign Counterintelligence Service. This is a warning to all revelers this New Year's Eve, particularly in the West, that a bomb will go off and that it will be blamed on Islamists. But the bomb will, of course, the bombers will be organized by the KGB, because these Muslims in Paris, for example, they don't have the resources or the intelligence ability to organize an attack such as was organized in Paris on 13th of November. There is one caveat. The Austrians are already in Vienna. The Austrians are very close to the Russians. They work with Russians. They are the ally. And they have already warned the people to expect there is a terrorist threat around the festivities around New Year's Eve. And today you can hear in all the press that indeed what you call them, on the Red Square in Moscow, it will be closed. It will be closed for the public, and the people will be checked at the entrance to the Red Square. So, and this morning in Russia, an Islamic so-called attack has happened. You have to know when the Islamic terrorism is directed against Russia, the Americans are behind it, and when it is directed against Europe or America, the Russians are behind it. Russians are behind the bombing in California. Of course, 9/11 was organized by the Americans, so that is one how should I say it, exception to this rule, because Bush wanted to invade and occupy Iraq and Afghanistan. Of course, Obama withdrew forces from Iraq, which causes enormous sufferings in that country today. I wish you a very happy New Year, and please do not go to New Year celebrations in the open, because of course soldiers are already in the streets of Brussels. It's a shame, it's a disaster, but it is all organized by the KGB, by Mr. Putin. And for New Year's Eve, I want to send a message to Russians. If you think that a 65-year-old KGB officer is somebody who can lead you into the 21st century, please be my guest. Thank you very much for listening. I will hear you and see you very soon.